Welcome to the Namaste Show, radio to inspire enlightened living. Namaste simply means the spirit of love in me honors the spirit of love in you, and all is well. I'm Charlotte McGinnis, your host, and I thank you for joining me today. Fitness for the body, mind, and soul, your one-stop shop for overall well-being in Hendersonville's only holistic health and wellness center. Jennifer Bird, award-winning bodybuilder and Hendersonville's best personal fitness trainer, will work with you to create a program to attain your optimal body. I love my therapeutic massages from Milena, facials with Claire, and then have an organic veggie juice or smoothie with Tony. Fitness for the body, mind, and soul also offers Zumba, Nia, Ageless Grace, boot camps, abs, stretch, yoga, and Tai Chi. Great membership deals are waiting for you. Come in for a tour today at 419 South King Street in downtown Hendersonville or call us at 489-3855. See you there. Are you feeling like you would like more clarity and inner peace in your life? Are you looking for a unique and personal gift for someone? If you have not been to Emerald Lotus, you need to go. My friend Lori Fothergill has created an amazing sanctuary for the body, mind, and soul. Emerald Lotus has wonderful spiritual tools and gifts, workshops and classes, and spiritual guidance for anyone who is seeking more inner peace and awareness in their lives. Go see Lori today at 1750 Brevard Road in Laurel Park in Hendersonville. Her number is 693-0301. Did you know that disease cannot live in an alkaline body? Of course, we all know that a healthy diet, abundant in fruits and vegetables, is good for us. But did you know that by drinking Kangen alkaline water, you can restore your body to homeostasis, which is its natural state for healing? Sound too good to be true? Give Ellen a call at 828-697-1556 to find out more about this miracle water. You can also visit our website, h2o-kangen.com. I've been drinking Kangen water for 3 years, and I love it. Change your water, change your life. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Namaste Show. I'm Charlotte McGinnis, and I'm really happy you're joining me here today, and look forward to having a great conversation about this and that. And, of course, I couldn't resist going into the topic of politics today. And why is that, I wonder? Well, probably because it's all we read about in the paper, all we see on the news, and wherever you look, you see Mitt Romney and Barack Obama giving their good opinions of each other or not so good opinions of each other, and then you give all their little talking heads the opportunity to give every reason why the other person is wrong and their person is right. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not anti-political by any means. I think we have the greatest political system in the world here in this country. But yet, I don't really enjoy hearing all of the judgment and criticism of each other. You know, somewhere along the line, we have forgotten really what the political system and the democratic system is all about. And it's being for the people. And whatever, whatever side we choose to stand on is wonderful. We may certainly align with one party over another, and that's all well and good, and that's great because we have that freedom of choice. But on the other hand, just because I may or you may choose to align with one side of the fence or the other, be a donkey or an elephant, that doesn't mean necessarily that we have to make the other side wrong to get our opinion across. And I think that what really politics is a microcosm of the big picture here. And we look at they're showing us really in the big picture how we as individuals do the same thing. We're in conflict. We're judging. We're blaming. We're defending. We're attacking. It really is perpetuating that spiral of insanity over and over and over again. I get really tired of hearing this one's wrong and my way is right, and when George Bush was president, we got to get rid of him because he's screwed up everything, and then all of a sudden Barack Obama, he screwed it up even worse, and now we have Mr. Romney who's choosing to come in and say he can fix it all. And I hope he can, or I hope Obama can. I'm not really holding my breath on either end because I think there's a bigger picture at play here. And that picture is, where are we individually in our hearts and in our minds? It would be nice if we could just come out and say, here's what I believe. And my belief is that this is what will work. And I really believe this is so, and this is why. And point out reasons and facts that support your dreams and ideals. And build on that. Build on what is positive. There's so much more energy and power in focusing on what is good and what we want, rather than these crazy media ads that continue to point fingers and blame and have to keep us separate. I don't think that as a society we're really enjoying this conflict either. I see that most people, when you mention politics, they just roll their eyes, say, what the heck, why bother? Well, I think that's kind of sad. We've gotten to that point because here we are, we were built as a country, we were founded, liberty and justice for all, that we all have a voice, that we're all here to work together. And I look at this country of ours as a laboratory experiment, and we have had this opportunity to really have free will, to have the First Amendment rights, to really be able to make our own decisions and be free. What are we doing with that? A lot of people, of course, are doing wonderful things. There's many politicians out there and people who are in that arena who are in it for the right reasons. It's not self-serving. It's really for the people. And I'm always a believer, in self-responsibility. The buck stops with me. If something's wrong, it's easy to point my finger and blame this one or that one. But rather, I find a more empowering place to come from is to say, okay, I am responsible for the world I see. It's not anyone's fault but my own of how I choose to view it, because perception really creates our own reality. So as I heal my own perception, get more grounded in my own heart space, then I can be such a stronger presence of power into this world. This self-responsibility is so important. And I really feel that our leader, and of course the President of the United States being really the top dog in our country, well, he or she has a responsibility to really stand in that power. And that power is really to say, what decisions can I make that benefit everyone, not what benefits my half of the fence and excludes the other half of the fence, but really what decisions can I make that will serve the whole? Because as long as we continue to make decisions based on judgment and separation and blame and defend and attack, we're going to just perpetuate more of the same. I love, of course, the model and the life of Gandhi, who really just stood for peace. He stood for his message of nonviolence and just holding that space of peace. And he took it to the point where he risked his own life for it and did lose his life for it. But he was not going to step in to the chaos of judgment and blame and attack and war, but he stood for peace. And when he did that, he left a ripple effect that created so much more power on our planet than anything that I'm seeing right now in our political arena. I also love the model of Martin Luther King. He marched for peace. He marched for the people. It was not really, he wasn't on a soapbox of pointing fingers and blame, but just to stand for that place of peace and oneness for all, and fairness and equality for everyone. That's really the most powerful stance we can all take. Now, I'm not, as I said, taking a political stance here one way or another. I've actually been registered as a Democrat and a Republican, and now I'm pretty much an independent. I definitely make my decisions not based on the party, but based on the person and the message. And I'm not afraid to pull one lever or another if it means that I feel this person, even though they may be a Republican or a Democrat, I'm not going to let that base my decision. And yet some people will just go in and pull one lever and say, I want to go straight Republican or straight Democrat, and don't give much thought to the process. Now, they can say that they're making that decision based on the picture that their party offers, the goals that their party offers. And I do understand that. But I also think that as a spiritual being and as a person who really is choosing to make the highest and best decision, there are people with value on both sides, and to support those people in their decision making. Now, one thing that I find one of the most valuable gifts that I find myself politically is as far as my perception, is whether or not the person that maybe I wanted to be in office is there or not. It is our responsibility that when that person is in office, that we honor and we respect them, and that we pray that they make the right decisions for all of us. Not to sit here and 3 weeks after they're in office find a way to get them out and start making a plan to get their next guy in. You know, that's insanity. That just makes no sense to me. Where's the peace in this? Where really is for the people decisions being made? I just don't see how that's possible. I believe if we can support each other and say, you know, I support you, I might not agree with you. In other words, I think a very mature approach to this is that we agree to disagree. And as long as you're here, I'm going to support you, and how may I help you to make decisions that will benefit us all? Because I really look back and I think that in my own life, I've learned a lot of lessons. I've made plenty of my own personal mistakes, still do, and I own those. Can't blame. I've learned enough to know that it's no one's fault but my own, even though sometimes it's tempting to point the finger the other way. But what I really am recognizing is that I do have to live the life that I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that I don't make mistakes, and I haven't done stupid things, and I haven't made loveless decisions, because I've done all of the above. But I do choose to recognize those, take responsibility, and do better the next time. Somewhere we have to change this cycle that we're on, because in our own personal lives, or even at the top political level, every decision that we make does factor into the whole. Our decisions are not made in private, in other words. My decision affects all the world. And if I decide for love, then all the world is going to benefit by that decision. If I decide in fear or conflict or war, all the world is going to experience the effects of that decision too. So really, all healing, as I reiterate every week, really is self-healing. And we have to be responsible for everything that we see in our life. So the more that I can change my mind about the situation, I can come from that stance like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, then we can really create the change that we're all desiring. You know, we all really do want what's best. I think the heart of all of us is good and wants what's good for each other. But sometimes we get afraid, and we're afraid that we'll lose something if we make this decision that maybe that we think that would be the highest and best. But it's not really, because it's only the highest and best if I get my way. Does that sound familiar? Well, let's just ponder over that. I'm going to turn it over to my sponsors here for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to really talk about blessing our world and creating the world and the beauty that we're meant to experience here and release some of the conflict and pain and suffering. So tune in to the sponsors. I really want to appreciate and thank all of them, because without them, I wouldn't be able to be here on Saturday mornings. And we'll see you on the back nine. Thai food is not only delicious, but it's good for you too. My favorite Thai food is Hendersonville's first Thai restaurant, Thai Spice. Jan and Nook share their authentic Thai recipes with the freshest ingredients available and create dishes pleasing to your taste buds and your tummy. Their friendly, accommodating servers and staff make the experience all the more enjoyable. Stop by soon and check out Hendersonville's best Thai food. There's a good chance I'll be there too. You can see them at 220 South King Street in Hendersonville, 693-7323. Crystal Visions is a sanctuary for the spiritual seeker, providing resources for transformation and growth, including books, music, crystals, jewelry, and more, serving the greater Hendersonville community since 1989. In this sacred setting, you may experience spiritual and metaphysical teachings, guidance, meditation, sharing, and laughter. This is a safe haven for you to reflect upon and voice your thoughts about your earth journey. Their capable and loving staff reflect a broad spiritual background that serves to enhance your experience here. Crystal Visions honors and welcomes all paths. Visit Blair today at 5426 Asheville Highway in North Hendersonville, 687-1193. Did you know that disease cannot live in an alkaline body? Of course, we all know that a healthy diet, abundant in fruits and vegetables, is good for us, but did you know that by drinking Kangen alkaline water, you can restore your body to homeostasis, which is its natural state for healing? Sound too good to be true? Give Ellen a call at 828-697-1556 to find out more about this miracle water. You can also visit her website, h2o-kangen.com. I've been drinking Kangen water for 3 years, and I love it. Change your water, change your life. Welcome back, everyone. I guess we're on the back nine now. I guess I've taken that on, front nine, back nine. What do you think about that, coming from an old golf pro here? So back to the topic, really, of politics, which is something I really don't love to talk about that much, but seems like it's up for healing in my mind, so I'm sharing it with you. I really have to say I had an experience back in Florida maybe 15 years ago, maybe 20 at this point, I can't remember. But I've not been, as I mentioned earlier, a very politically active person. And yet one day I was approached by a stranger who had said, you know what, we've been talking about you and we want you to run for the House of Representatives in your district in Palm Beach County. And this was someone coming from the Democratic Party. And I was looked at her just half startled and puzzled. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, you know, you've done a lot of good work. You're in the news. You've helped a lot of people in the community. You're very tapped into the golf world. And we think that your district, being one of great wealth and a lot of country club settings, that you'd be a good candidate to go to the clubs and talk to people and get them to, we really need to get this seat filled by the Democrats. And I looked at her and I said, wow, that is amazing that I was actually being considered and talked about in a back room and yet never really took an open political stance somewhere. But I went ahead and took the bait, and a few people from Tallahassee, the capital, came down and talked to me and took me to lunch. And I said, you know, that I find this quite interesting. And as I said, I'm not even that politically knowledgeable. I don't know a lot about politics or anything really to speak of. And yet you all have tracked me down. I find it interesting. I wouldn't even know where to begin. And I was told, well, don't worry. We'll guide you. We'll tell you what to say. We'll give you a couple of people to go with you, and they'll lead you and guide you. And I thought, whoa, that is too interesting to me. Now, my ego, I have to say, was pretty enticed by this possibility. And I had a lot of people supporting me in doing this. But the more I thought about it, it just seemed kind of smelly and dirty to me. I thought, this doesn't feel right. And I couldn't in good conscience. And I think they may have lost interest in me when I said, I won't allow other people to tell me how to think or what to think. I'm just going to go speak from my heart. And I don't think that was the answer necessarily they were looking for or the candidate. But it could be very enticing for someone to be able to, oh, wow, they came and found me, and now I have this power, and I can go out and speak at these clubs and take this message wherever I go and possibly get an office and get paid for it. And, there's a lot of rewards, earthly rewards that a lot of people may jump on, and I'm sure they do jump on. But it didn't seem to fit with me at the time, and I sort of let that one go. But I'll never forget that, because it gave me a whole other taste of the political system. So I go back, my decisions are based totally from a spiritual perspective. I always go back to love, to my heart. And I look at us as really all working together. And how can we find a way to unify, not make ourselves separate, but rather to bring us all together? Because I really do believe that we're all God's children. And if we're all God's children, what does that mean? That means that everyone's well-being is important, not just my own. And so I want to make decisions that serve that belief and that purpose. I find it's been going on for several years now, this immigration issue is very interesting. And I understand. I'm open-minded. I look at the big picture, and I do understand both sides of that coin. Yet I also look back to when this country was founded, and even before that, the Native Americans are the true Americans. Yet somewhere along the line, we thought it was okay to come in and take their land away from them and put them on reservations and dictate exactly how they were going to be treated. And to me, that's sad, and that still happens on our planet. And I think, wow, isn't that amazing that someone actually thinks that they have the power and the control and the permission to actually take away from people what is actually theirs. And so, the immigration, we're all immigrants at some point. Now, there are other issues, and I'm not making this a political stance here at all, but I really always go back to this. I'm, of course, a avid student and teacher of A Course in Miracles, and have been for a number of years. And A Course in Miracles comes from the stance that we make a decision, all of our decisions, based in love, and ask ourselves really what would bring the highest degree of love into every situation. So when we do that, then we're allowing spirit, love, whatever you want to call it, God, to do their work, rather than our ego, which needs to control and manipulate. So it comes from maybe the highest of consciousness. And I really do believe, here we are, founded on the principles of God in the United States, yet that also offers the gift of religious freedom, or choice of not choosing religion. And I think it all comes down to really, what would God do here? What would love do in this situation? I find it interesting. What about the issues, so many issues in the Bible that are negated, but the big hot button, of course, is homosexuality, and that's a sin, and the homosexual community has no right to even ask for rights. They're an abomination. I really just don't get that one at all. But yet, what about the commandment, thou shalt not kill? Yet we find great reason to go out and continue to kill and fight and harm each other, yet we're so focused on the homosexuality and how that is corrupting the planet. I really come from a place of looking from a perspective of not blame, but let's just get an open conversation here. And usually when I get into a conversation with people, I don't come from judging or condemning. I put out a pretty radical message, but people don't really come back and point their fingers too much at me because they know that I'm not coming from a stance of making them wrong, but really asking ourselves, what would love do here? Well, I understand your viewpoint, but how can everyone benefit from this situation or this decision? And when you do that, how can you question that? As a moral being, how can we question what is good for the all? And besides the fact, I'm just talking here today about our United States of America, but we have a whole world beyond our borders, and everyone on our planet deserves the same rights because we're all children of the same God. We can't deny that. At least in my mind, I guess you can deny it. I don't deny that. I believe that we are all one and interconnected. And as I mentioned in the first part of the program, that, this is like a laboratory for learning how to get along. I think that, the cosmic joke is we've all been dumped here on planet Earth, and it's like, okay, we're going to give you free will. And God gave us this big experiment and said, okay, you got free will, and you can choose to be led by my voice, which is the voice of love and union and oneness and cooperation and collaboration, or you can perpetuate all this chaos and drama through war and politics making the other side wrong. And we've been cycling through this for thousands of years, and it hasn't worked. It just hasn't worked. It's getting worse. And of course, people say, and rightfully so, that God has been taken out of the equation. Prayer has been taken out of schools. That's a problem. And I may tend to agree with that. And I think that really God has been taken out of it, but not God on the terms that I say God should be or another person thinks that God should be. I look at God as a more universal being of love. And I can't imagine that God would choose to exempt anyone from his kingdom. I come from a place of knowing that God is beneficent, that he is loving, and he wants us all to thrive. So I'm a big believer and teacher about forgiveness, and forgiveness meaning that there's really nothing to forgive. I believe that we don't need to ask God for forgiveness because God doesn't judge us. So forgiveness boils down to being self-forgiveness. And I want to see this world forgiven. I want to focus on the nature and the love of this world rather than what I think may be wrong with it. Because there again, what I give my attention to is then that is what I'm extending and expanding in my consciousness and in the world. Thoughts are things. I love this quote. The holiest spot on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. And so what happens with that is that give you goosebumps or what? When I'm willing to say, you know what, in the past, this ancient hatred that I've carried forth for generations, or maybe just a year, a month, whatever, but when I can transform that into love, that is the holiest place on earth. I really want to just wrap up here. Let's begin to honor each other, listen to each other, agree to disagree. We have this great experiment here, and I think that all of the crud is coming to a head because it's a big call for healing. So if we see this crud as just darkness and muck, just ask the light and love of God to be shown upon it and see it all disintegrate, because the purpose of this world is not to be fixed but forgiven. And that means that I'm willing to make decisions based on love and not fear. And when we do that, that is when we see the world that we all desire. So what role are you going to play in this transformation? Let's bless all the candidates. Let's pray that the one who really is going to bring forth the highest degree of healing and unifying for all of us win this election. Let's bless our Olympic athletes, and let's bless ourselves and each other, because we are here to be blessed and to be loved and to extend that to each other. Have a great week, everybody. This has been the Namaste Show. Many blessings to all of you, and thank you to my sponsors. And hopefully we'll see you one day at the Namaste Center on Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. for the Sunday Soulful Celebration, and 419 South King Street in downtown Hendersonville. Have a great week, everyone. Namaste. I invite you to join me every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. on WTZQ AM 1600 and on Sundays at 11 a.m. for the Sunday Soulful Celebration held at the Namaste Center at Fitness for the Body, Mind, and Soul, 419 South King Street in downtown Hendersonville. Go to our website, thenamasteshow.com, for more information. Until we meet again, Namaste.